By Jaden Taylor to cut away the baseline, but Gabe Brown able to step back, not getting a nice little 15-foot jump shot.
A couple shots come in for Jaden Taylor. Scored the first points of the game for Butler on a 3. That's his first point since. That's been really impressive. Start at Perry Meridian High School in Indy, 25 points per game, but even though they're excited about him, they didn't necessarily see him in the starting lineup right away, but he was great during preseason camp, earned that job, and has scored in double figures in each of their first 3 games.
Now look, 6'4", 190, has nice size on him. At this point, he's earned the trust of the coaching staff in order to be inserted to the lineup. And speaking of trust, it's always good when you can have a guy like Tyson Walker, who averaged 18 points and about 4 assists last year for Northeastern, come in and kind of handle the point guard position, someone that has experience. It may not be in the Michigan State uniform, but he's played a lot of minutes in college.
And he's still feeling his way, and
yeah.
Tom Izzo talked about that. He's leaned towards being a distributor versus being a scorer, and Izzo's saying, look, man, like you said, he scored 19 a game there. Don't be afraid to try and be a scorer, too.
Yeah, but you know what? See, the officials called this off, but he knew in that system at Northeastern where shots were going to come from. So he was so much more comfortable, and his team knew that. So as a young guard coming, I'm not a young guard, but as a guard coming in, he has to pick and fill his spots. Again, it's early, but you think at the beginning of Big Ten season, he'll be a lot more comfortable offensively at that point than he is now.
You can understand a new guy just simply trying to fit in. Here's Gross with another try. This one goes. He's been searching, and he finally knocks one down. Christie responds, and he's got a dozen in his young Michigan State career. First time he's been in double figures.
How about this? Butler, we saw it in the first half, was able to knock in the 3, but then Michigan State able to come right back with the response.
Aaron Thompson rises from the elbow. Rebound Brown.
Man, good contest that time by Tyson Walker.
Christie tried to knife that one through there, knocked out of bounds by Butler.
Well, let's go back to Butler's last 3. He's getting excellent ball movement against a tough defense. You see the dribble penetration on the baseline. You suck in the defense that time. He was able to knock it in, but then the quick pass, the late contest by Chuck Harrison. Nice Christie able to drain that 3. Offensive foul right here. Marble the second. And Tom Izzo, of course, is pleading this case like what had happened.
We've seen more fouls away from the ball in this game.
Now, you think that's a product, too, early season, kind of, you know, slow it down a little bit more offensively instead of being in a rush?
Travel. Jaden Taylor. One of the reasons Butler was so much better in the second half against Troy on Saturday was that they stopped turning it over.
Yeah, only 7 in the second half versus Troy. Again, that's against a team that didn't really pressure Butler. But it was, you know, self-imposed wound, so to speak, by the Bulldogs. And that's an excellent 2-man game between Gabe Brown and Julius Marble II. Kind of Marble keeping and maintaining his space outside of the lane in order to get that shot.
Soft touch, got the roll. 6 for Julius Marble. The lead back to 11. Butler trying to get Chuck Harris going. Only 3 points for him. He finds Thompson. Penetrates and kicks. Taylor's 3. Won't go. It is a foul on Butler. Foul consistently tight from the start tonight. Hogarth gets inside. Blocked from behind by Golden. Somehow able to get it back and set up Brown. He's got a 3. Second chance points for Michigan State, and they've got their largest lead of the game at 14.
But how about the heads-up play by Hogarth to kind of stay with? He could have traveled, made a quick pass, but he was able to locate Gabe Brown, who got right in his passing vision to open up himself behind the arc.
Eight-0 run for Michigan State. Gross trying to snap it. Christie up for the rebound. And a foul on Golden. Number 3 on him.
Defense is to have them guessing right here. If you freeze it, it's going to be a pin down, but the ability for Chuck Harris to read it and go back door and suck in Joey Hauser opens up an opportunity for Butler to get a clean look. Ty Gross able to square up his shoulders and knock it in again. By keeping the Michigan State defense off balance, that time they were able to attack in several different angles and get an open look. Again, this team is big, they're long, they're athletic. Michigan State, if they're able to stay in place, advantage to them, which is, presented a challenge for the Butler offense into the second half.
It's a Butler team that a year ago was one of the worst offensive teams in the Big East. Injury-riddled season, got back a lot of the injured guys. Still trying to get entirely healthy in this young year. To go inside the marble. No call, and here comes Butler.
When you're limited offensively, the opposite end of the court, you have to be a stellar team and not giving up opportunities, because your margin of error is so slim. And when you take shots like that, kind of contested shots like that, when you're struggling, it's tough to get any kind of offensive rhythm.
Chuck Harris just 2 for 8 from the field today. Came into the game their leading scorer on the season, had 23 against Troy on Saturday. Tapped from behind, and he's got a steal here. Harris, fouled by Brown.
This Butler team has been able to force. So you see Chuck Harris attacking off the dribble. Michigan State to turn it over 11 times, but because you're not a up-tempo team, the Bulldogs haven't been able to capitalize off of those 11 turnovers. Only 8 points. That's an area that when you struggle in your half-court sets, that if you can force those turnovers and get out in transition and create some opportunities, that takes some stress off of that offense.
Harris probing for room, gives it up, and gets it back. On the floor, on the drive, got it blocked. And over to Michigan State.
And just when you think you have an opening, again, Marcus Bingham Jr. right there in the right place to influence the shot once again of Chuck Harris.
Max Christie accelerates and puts it in. A game-high 14 for Max Christie.
Is it me, or for a young freshman who has a lot of poise and discipline and kind of allows the game to come to him? Such poise at a young age.
Plays the game at a comfy speed.
He does, right? Most freshmen at this point of their career, kind of the game is moving a little fast, especially against a higher-ended opponent like Butler.
Harris with a difficult step back that rattles home, and the first points for the Bulldogs in almost 5 minutes.
Inadvertent clock. Some guys just have it. Just an understanding of how to play the game. They never get sped up, even at a young age. Max Christie showing the prowess of a upperclassmen right there. Again, you allow the defense to open up, find your gaps, and then attack. And, you know, he has a lot of freedom to kind of exploit those opportunities given to him by Tom Izzo.
Athletic bloodlines. His mom was a 1,000-point scorer at Northwestern. His dad played college ball as well. And he loves it, right? Tom Izzo says there are guys that like basketball. There are guys that love basketball. There are guys that live basketball. And Max Christie is in that camp.
Well, he calls him a student of the game. And when you have the pedigree that you have and you grow up around the game, you see it a little bit differently. Things come a lot, I'm not going to say easier, but more natural to you because you've been, you know, shown the game at such a young age.
Tyson Walker can't hit it. Offensive rebound for another one of the freshmen, Jaden Akins. And that three will not count as Tyson Walker is on the sideline.
That's the second time. Max Christie, I think, did it in the first half. And that time, Tyson Walker, not aware of how close he was to the sideline, took away which could have been an open three-point look at the basket for him.
Spartans by 14. Butler had cut it to 6 early on in this half. Bolden from way outside. And that kind of night for the Bulldogs. Now 6 of 22 from 3.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing wrong with getting two-point shots, two-point baskets, especially when you're struggling offensively.
Offensive board and a putback with a foul for Marcus Bingham.
See, and this is the beauty of two-point shots. In the analytics, they talk about either layups, right, what you see right here, or three-point shots. And by getting two, if you're the team that's up, it allows you to either maintain the lead or extend it. But if you're the team fighting from behind and you're not shooting well, those two-point baskets give you not just points, but give you momentum. They allow you to hang around the game. So ideally, you don't want to settle for threes. If you can get downhill, get in the lane, get to the free throw line, get some two-point opportunities to at least feel good about yourself. Butler, you got to look at that.
Well, we've talked about some of the questions for Michigan State coming into this year. Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to carry the scoring load? How about Marcus Bingham, who averaged 3 points over his first 3 seasons? He's been in double figures in both games coming into this one, and tonight he's got 8.
Well, the matchups were perfect. See a foul right here on Jaden Akins, but the matchups were perfect for Marcus Bingham in this particular game. It may be Gabe Brown in another situation. It may be Tyson Walker. You know, that's the beauty of having these early games, is kind of establish that of who the alpha male from a scoring perspective may end up being, ultimately being, once the Big Ten season kicks off.